Hi, everyone. I feel like it's been a long time since we've spoken, but I have been up to some things on your behalf and just wanted to give you a brief update. Not sure if you saw the emails or the posts, but two big things have happened this week. And one is that Newport News passed an ordinance for public safety. House Bill 421 that I carried for the sixth time, fifth year, but sixth time, passed this year, and it allowed for localities to be empowered to pass ordinances that regulated firearms. Unlike, I think, any other category, there was an explicit prohibition on it in state law. So it said localities cannot have any ordinances about X, Y, and Z as it pertains to guns. But in other areas, it's usually localities can do things unless we tell them that they have to come to us. So like charter changes or certain privileges for taxing, because of the Dillon rule, they have to come to the General Assembly to get certain changes, but not a lot of, well, I should say, not all of the ordinances do they have to come before the General Assembly in order to get. But this one, we needed to remove the prohibition, which means that they couldn't do it, in order for them to do it. And so now Alexandria and Newport News have enacted ordinances that they thought fit for their city to keep their city safe. And so I really want to give a shout out to both of those city councils because it's really, in these times, it's courageous, it shows leadership, and it also sets an example for other localities to say, look, you can do this. It's well within your right, and it is helping to keep your area safe. So that was one thing from House Bill 421. The other was, I got together with some other legislators. One of the hard things about being a delegate and knowing the limitations of being within elected office is that the General Assembly can't enact any new things without being in session. And so when we leave in March, we can't do any new business until April. And in April, we were reacting to the governor's actions. And then it takes a special session for us to go back in and be, at this building behind me in order to do new action. And so the governor has said that we will have a special a special session in order to get new things done, but that's not until August. And today he announced that it's August 18th. But then after that, it's still the same legislative process. We still have to pass a resolution to say what it is that we are able to pass bills on. We have to have the committee process. We pass the bills, they go to the governor. The governor can amend, sign, not sign, or veto, and then we respond to that. So we're talking about some of these new bills that we may be doing in special session, short of an emergency clause. It may take some months in order for the effect to reach the people. When we are thinking about an evictions crisis, where people right now, today, need relief and need help, we can't wait several months. And so we requested that the Attorney General do an official opinion about, well, what are the options? And we received a letter back that was 7 pages of, here are some things. A lot of it was provisions that were afforded in the CARES Act, but that expires January 25th. Now, a lot of that could be helped if the HEROES Act were passed, but Senator Mitch McConnell has not scheduled for that to be voted on, even though it's already passed the House. So we need to do some federal advocacy for the HEROES Act in order to help people stay in their homes, to fund schools, to fund more PPE. And also, when we go back for special session in August, we're going to be dealing with the budget. Well, if the projections for the budget are that we're going to have $1 billion shortfall, we have needs in the Commonwealth. We can't just cut out $1 billion worth of funding and think that everything's going to be okay, especially when a lot of the people that are facing evictions may also have different needs or concerns in these other areas that would be cut. And it just would be really, really bad to not have a fully funded budget, especially some of the new things that we were able to get passed in 2020 session. They need to be funded. Guess what? In the HEROES Act, there is funding for states because all of the states are going through this and they know that the states can't fund everything on their own. There's election stuff in there. There's also 17-year-olds count as dependents. So do some college students and some adult dependents, they would become part of this next stimulus plan. So HEROES Act, Mitch McConnell, we need you to act. We can't wait. And I don't know what you're waiting for, but we can't wait. Tell the people do an up or down vote, do negotiations, but not doing anything, that lets us know that you're not taking the suffering of Americans seriously. And so the other thing in the opinion was that House Bill 340 that I carried, originally it was for those that were impacted by federal government furlough. If their income had been impacted, it would give them a 60-day stay if they're a tenant to hold off eviction so that they could get time to get their money so that they could pay it and hopefully never have an eviction. And then if you own the property, landlord, it gave you 30 days to help prevent foreclosure. We got that amended in reconvened session to include people who also had income deficiencies or had income impacts due to COVID. So we left April 22nd from being in a tent right by this building on this side, and it went into effect, but it was not going into effect equally or in the same way across the Commonwealth. And so in the Attorney General Mark Herring's opinion, it also talks about how House Bill 340 can be used in order to help people not be evicted during a pandemic, which is completely inhumane, cruel, all of that. So the idea of safer at home really means that we need to keep people at home. And this is a housing issue and a public health issue. So the other parts were what the courts can do, what the governor can do. So it's all laid out in that. I'll make sure you have the link so that you can read it yourself. But basically, it puts us on notice, all three branches of government, and how the legislation can be used, on what we can do to help people stay in their homes. And so I look forward to working with the other 139 members of the General Assembly, the governor, and the courts in order to make sure everyone in every branch of government is doing everything to the full extent of our power to make sure evictions are not happening during this pandemic. And so that happened. So we'll see what comes from there. I think there was some coverage today on it and the discussions that are happening from there. I do know that there was an organization, a Latino advocacy group that issued a letter to the governor asking for a moratorium on evictions. And then there's been some talk about some of the bills that we might carry in the legislative branch. So that's executive branch with the governor, legislative branch with the General Assembly. I'm going to be working with the advocates and the Virginia Poverty Law Center and lots of people that are coming to the table that know evictions are violence and evictions do not need to be happening right now. And I'm working with them and carrying one of the bills of the package that they've been working on. So I'll explain more about that. So those were two excuse me, two big things this week. So just understanding though that none of these things happen without your involvement. So shout out to Moms Demand, shout out to Everytown, shout out to people that came to Richmond and said, you know what, we've had enough, we want change, and they got it. And so that has been really amazing to see the changes that you all have been fighting for alongside me and us working together. So again, the biggest thing that I want you to take away are actions that you can take. One is to tell Mitch McConnell on all of your social media platforms that we need the HEROES Act and we need the HEROES Act now. Again, I'll put a link that tells more about the HEROES Act and why it's so important for a Commonwealth like Virginia, but for residents all across the nation to help keep people in their homes, to fund our schools, to fund education in general. So if we're going to have any further electronic options, making sure that there aren't disparities with access. I mean, just the money that is in that bill are things that we need for safe elections. It's just really, really comprehensive. And so we want to make sure that that passes. So that's Mitch McConnell, letting him know we need the CARES Act. We need it now. And then second, reaching out to all of your state level electeds, your senator, your delegate, even if it's me, I need to hear from you. The governor, that telling us, you know, do our job to stop evictions here in the Commonwealth. And then if you feel so encouraged, see, we always tell people when, you know, things aren't going well, but if you feel so encouraged, I would say, you know, reach out to the City Council and Newport News and tell them, thank you for passing that ordinance. It's a small step, but it's still a big step at the same time. So just telling them, you know, thank you for doing the right thing there. But yeah, so that's it. We are continuing to work on so much. Shout out to Tempest, y'all. We had some high hopes for the summer, but our hopes do not matter when it comes to the needs of the community. And what is needed right now is for us to be on the phones, making sure that all of the constituents have the resources that they need as we are still experiencing this pandemic. So we've been making calls to Virginia Employment Commission. If you have any problems or questions or needs with employment, please text us at 757-266-5935. 757-266-5935, and we will get more information and try and help you work through that system. That's another reason why evictions are so important to be stopped. People don't know how to navigate systems or aren't getting the answers. So if you're not getting your unemployment, but you weren't able to work, of course you're behind on rent. And no, that's not your fault. And so you shouldn't be put out into the streets for that. And then there's also the new $50 million that is available. I think there are some stipulations to who it's for, and we know that 50 million is not enough, but until it runs out, we need people to apply for that. So connecting people with these resources, again, that's 757-266-5935. And then other than that, I am looking forward to taking some time this weekend to celebrate my birthday. I can't believe I'm about to be 40, but it's definitely here. And I just want to thank all of the people that have had any hand in me getting to where I am today. Lots of you all are part of my village, and just whether you knew me when I was little or we went to high school together, we were in church choir together, you're in sorority with me, I've met you since I've become delegate. I really, really love this community, and thank you for all that you've done to pour into me. And that's why I work so hard every day to pour back into the community. But I'm looking forward to having some Zoom fun this weekend with my family and friends. But that's all for now. I will talk to you all soon. I'll make sure to put those links in there, and I'll go live soon. But I definitely wanted to give you this update. Take care. Talk to you soon. Bye.